Hey everyone, this is Speg, and welcome to part 3 in my legendary series for Halo 3. With the previous mission having defended then escaping Crow's Nest, in this mission we're going to journey out, rescue, and rally up a bunch of Marines as we head out to Tsavo Highway.
What happened?
Chief, please respond. What is your status? Over. If you can hear me, find transport. Head to the town
of Settle down, Marines. Somebody hit the emergency power.
On it, Sergeant.
I've got a broken rib. Hey, you want to bleed out? Anyone from Charlie 2?
Gotta keep
Got
pressure on the
separated.
wound.
Nah, man. Alpha 6, they're all gone too.
You can walk? Set your boots on the line.
Swelling. Could be a fracture. Think you can stand?
I don't know, Doc.
What's our situation, Sergeant?
Not sure. Can't reach the commander. Too far underground. Chief's got the right idea. Let's mount up. Get the hell out of these caves.
Yes, sir!
I'll get the door, sir.
I'm driving. Hold on
With
to your
the
hat.
initial starting point to this mission, you can certainly go out of your way to equip the Marines with a bow rifle. I would say it's really not necessary given the second War Dog won't survive for terribly long, unless if you get really lucky.
Have to keep moving. Second squad, we're coming through. Take them now.
So we begin with a fairly easy group that's guarding our exit. Oftentimes I do like to charge in, splatter as many grunts and jackals, but if that's not the case, then I'll let the Marines clean up after me.
Conserve ammo. Run them over.
Chieftains, rally your packs. Kill all survivors. Let none near the crater. The Prophet will soon complete his blessed task.
As we approach this next group, there's going to be a brute leading a bunch of grunts and a small handful of jackals. Once more, take the same approach, drive around and let the Marines do most of the work. If you do get some splatters, then definitely less work for the Marines.
They were lost in space elevator,
It collapsed when the city got glassed.
but the tether was thousands of kilometers high.
Yeah? Well, now it's scattered all over the savannah.
Making our way uphill towards this downed sniper tower, there are a couple of jackal snipers guarding it. And these might be two of the easier snipers that you'll encounter in the game.
Hey, thanks. These shoes are killing me.
So once it's all said and done, make sure the passenger has a beam rifle and then grab one.
Chief, still can't get the commander. Comms are a mess. Pelicans are scattered. Best thing now, get some distance between us and the base. Brutes are gonna be looking for survivors.
As for this next group, instead of taking a direct approach uphill, I like to swing left and try to get myself roughly on even ground to deal with the brute. He's equipped with a fuel rod cannon, and he's much easier to deal with since you have a lot of open ground on your left. So with the brute down, then afterwards you'll still have some grunts. Some of them will hop on the stationary turrets. If that happens to be the case, then let the Marines create an opening for you, and then you should be able to charge right in and clean up. Head up to this corner, and before you go down this ledge, snipe the brute that is leading the squad of grunts that's off to the left. If you do that, then you won't have to worry about having your war dog flipped or worse yet, destroyed.
You drive straight, please.
Let the Phantom leave the area before you really move into this large zone. But instead of going right in like my other war dog, you'll want to target each of these snipers that are within your vicinity. There's often two that happen to be on the dam, and there's going to be one each in the two sniper towers. With them out of the way, then you should be able to really work your way into the area, target the remaining shade turrets, and kill off any remaining grunts and brutes. Once you reach this point where you can get up on the dam safely, find the best available beam rifle before returning to your vehicle.
I repeat, my convoy's been hit. I've got wounded. We're on the Tsavo Highway about east of Voy. Someone, anyone, please respond.
Working your way up to this next checkpoint, you'll have a couple of choppers that will pass right in front of you. Let them do so, and then focus your attention on this chieftain to the left. Often what he does is he'll be on that building, but he'll jump down after a short period of time, leaving you in position where you're probably gonna have to charge after him. But once you close the gap on that chieftain, he really isn't so much of an issue, because he'll be left where he's gonna have to try and melee you instead of fire his good fuel rod cannon. Beyond him, then focus on the choppers as well as the shade turret that's up on the ridge. Along with those enemies, there are a couple of brute snipers, which is a very rare thing in this game, but it is exclusive to this mission as far as I'm aware.
Drones, heads up!
Now, while most of the enemies are cleared out of this area, there is going to be a wave of drones that will spawn in once you get up towards the shield door. When you do that, make sure to give yourself ample breathing room for the Marines to take them down. These guys do have a nasty habit of latching onto your vehicle if they get too close.
Take down that barrier, Chief. Power supply should be inside the tunnel.
Alright, before I do that, I am going to come back to this chieftain, grab his fuel rod cannon, and hand it off to the Marine in the gunner seat.
You drive. I want to shoot
And now
stuff
I've got
all
2
ass.
Marines that have a really good power weapon.
Things gonna blow! Move it! Move it! I had him handled.
Roger, expedition.
I'm sure it'll be plenty happy to
Uncovering
see you.
this relic
Head on
will
through
pay
the tunnel.
homage
Give
to
those
their
guys a hand.
glory. When the dust settles, we will all see what I already know. Here lies the path, the start of our great journey.
Commander, this is only Recon 111. The cruisers above. They found
Say again, Recon? You're breaking up.
something in the crater, ma'am. Something beneath the storm.
When you get up to this barricade, make sure the Marines get out of the Wardog and cross this gap.
Just keeping your six clear.
Sometimes what will happen is they'll get caught and sometimes fall to the lower level. If that's the case, then they're lost forever.
Master Chief, finally a good connection. Truth has excavated a Forerunner artifact. We have to assume it's the Ark.
Keep pushing to the town of Boyd, Chief. 3 supply birds will meet you in the next valley.
Heading into this next major battle, help save the group of Marines that are off to your right. Sometimes that brute that's leading the couple of grunts will have a brute shot, but in a number of cases he'll have a brute spiker instead, giving you a better chance to rescue them.
Get closer and engage! You're mine!
As you're getting towards the end, watch out for these jump pack brutes. Sometimes they'll try to work their way behind you.
Let them know we're here!
Thanks, Chief.
We got reinforcements, Marines.
Hoorah!
Appreciate it. Sir, Recon spotted Covenant armor ahead. Pelicans are inbound with heavy weapons. We need to hold out until they arrive.
Okay, so now that we've cleared out those enemies, we're going to have a couple of phantoms deploying brute reinforcements to the area. This is probably one of the more challenging bits that is on foot. Now with the Marines, if they are alive, they're going to be a really big help if they have fuel rod cannons equipped. Because what they'll do is they'll try to target the Phantom first if they have time. Otherwise, they'll go after these brutes. Of course, you could take out the Phantoms yourself, but it's a lot more fun to do this with the Marines with good weapons. Now keep in mind, with each of the Phantoms, you will have one chieftain equipped with a fuel rod cannon. And he's going to be your biggest problem aside from all the other brutes that are around.
Wraith! Get to cover!
I'm still concerned that chieftain is around, so I need to go find him before I really do anything else. Now that all those brutes are down, a Wraith will approach this area. Now with all the debris, it probably won't make its way all the way to this position. Regardless, you do want to try to target the gunner that's on the Wraith first before you attempt to board it. Now that I see it's way out there, instead of going out and risking anything, I'm going to come back, grab this sniper rifle, and take out the brute sniper that is ahead.
Pelicans coming in.
Brutes have plenty of armor between here and Boyd, Chief. But this Warthog should help you punch on through.
Now that we have the area secure, this is a really good opportunity to go around, secure any good weapons, grenades, ammo that you can find. Besides the sniper that was in that hut, there is another good sniper rifle up on this part of the bridge. Generally, I prefer to save that sniper rifle instead of going after it when I initially enter this area. So rather than grabbing one of the Warthogs, what I'll do is take the Wraith that I managed to kill the driver from, and we're going to use this to clear out most of the enemies left in the mission. This is definitely a fun way to handle it, especially since the Warthog can be quite a bit more challenging to manage against the choppers and Wraiths. So take this part rather slow, let the choppers charge after you, rather than trying to seek out their positions. But as far as I see it, the Marines are doing a pretty nice job of going in and cleaning up the mess. At this time, after you clear out the two brutes at this checkpoint, you can secure the fuel rod cannon on the ground before returning to the Wraith. Once you get down here, try to get yourself in a relatively safe position where these choppers won't be able to swamp you. And I think on this part you face almost a dozen of these choppers, which can be really annoying on your own. With the Marines, it can be a lot more fun. Now this is a circular area where you have this island where the brutes will kind of circle around with their vehicles, and there's also going to be some choppers still roaming around. This can be a very dangerous point in the mission because you'll not only have the Wraiths firing on you from above or from another area, but you'll also have these choppers still charging your location. You can go clockwise, and that's probably the tougher way to really handle this part. I would say the counterclockwise approach is going to be your best bet if you really want to have some open ground to fight these choppers and give yourself a good range to shoot from. But this approach will give you a lot better cover to work with. I am going to take this part a little bit more cautiously than what I'm normally used to, especially since I see the Wraith that is up and to my right. I don't want to give him a really good angle to fire on me from. But what I can do from this location is actually take out the Wraith that is up on the highway. If I don't want to try to get too close to his location. This will require a little bit of trial and error, but eventually you'll get a good feel for the Wraith after some use. So I can't see the Wraith in full, but I can see the tippy top of it. And about 4 mortars will be enough to destroy it. Once you get to the underpass part, you will probably trigger at least a couple more choppers, unless if you really got lucky and took out most of them in the initial combat. Sometimes this can happen where they get stuck on a side of a rock, which I can see happen to this chopper in particular. So once more, just like the first Wraith, I can do the same exact strategy for these next two that are now going to be stuck up on the highway. I can try to see if I can spot the top of the vehicle, and if I have a rough idea on their location, I can just try to fire off some mortars and see if I get really lucky. So there goes the another Wraith, and there should be just one more still up there, which I do see. Another good trick for dealing with the Wraiths is if you position yourself out of sight, it normally won't fire on you. And there it goes. Now this is another optional stop in the mission where you can acquire another fuel rod cannon or secure more ammo for that weapon if you grabbed one earlier. That's something that I actually discovered rather recently. I didn't know that fuel rod cannon existed until just about a week or two ago.
Chief, the gate to Boy is dead ahead. Smash the brute blockade. Open her up.
So we're not quite out of the clear yet, but we probably have cleared out one of the tougher combat sections of the mission, having used the Wraith to deal with the choppers and Wraiths. Now we get up to another small checkpoint. Again, we're going to face a lot more brutes ahead. With the Wraith, I would just hang back, let those brutes try to charge your location. Some of them do have jetpacks, so be very aware of where they're going to try to land. And of course, one of the brutes way at the back is going to have a beam rifle too. I would advise using the Wraith to kill him before really getting out on foot and tackling the remaining forces, if you must. If you didn't manage to get this far with a Wraith, but you took a Wardog instead, and you are in need of a sniper-related weapon, there is a small cache right here, and there's also one on the other side of the barrier. Beyond that, you also do have access to the beam rifle from the brute.
My dreadnought, the vessel that has so long been the focus of our worship, now rests on its true pedestal. Even now, its holy engines spark greater ones below, relics long without power, yet ready to fulfill their divine purpose. Stand fast! Keep our enemies at bay! Soon, my brothers, we will all have our reward!
And here's the second sniper rifle if you need to look for it. As we enter the final stretch in the mission, there is going to be another roughly dozen brutes, along with a shade turret. Focus on that shade turret using the fuel rod cannon, and from here on out you can pretty much snipe many of the brutes that you can spot from this location. I do appreciate this part after having a couple of challenging stretches where you're just given a lot of sniper ammo and the game is just basically advising you to have some fun with this part. At the very end of your path, there is going to be another chieftain. This one is going to have a plasma turret instead of a fuel rod gun like the other chieftains. So with this guy, you can certainly snipe him from range quite easily. Otherwise, you can use the fuel rod cannon and blast away at him. And after all the enemies are down, just shoot down the shield and that'll complete the level.
Lord Hood, we made it.
Music to my ears, Commander. What about the Ark?
Fully uncovered, sir.
Then we don't have much time. Marines, the Prophet of Truth doesn't know it yet, but he's about to get kicked right off his throne. You will take our city back and drive our enemy into the grave they've been so happily digging. One final effort is all that remains.
Alrighty, and that will be the end of Tsavo Highway. A somewhat challenging mission, but I wouldn't describe this as probably the most difficult one in the game. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Feel free to leave any comments or suggestions that you have for this mission. Thank you all for tuning in on this episode. I really appreciate all the support, all the comments and likes that I've been getting on the videos. And I will catch you in the next mission, which will be the Storm.